Let me ask you something. Why do the top 1% keep getting richer, even when the economy tanks? It's not just about what they do, it's how they think. Today, I'm breaking down how to think like the 1%, with real psychology, real numbers, and zero fluff. If you apply this mindset, wealth stops being luck and starts being strategy. Let's begin. Most people think in addition. I need to earn $500 more a month. The 1%, they think in multiplication. How do I build something that earns $5,000 a month without me working more? They multiply effort through systems. The average millionaire has 7 income streams, not because they hustle harder, but because they build machines that scale. A freelance writer might earn $500 per project. The 1% writes once, turns it into a course, sells templates, or builds an agency. They trade time for assets, not just paychecks. Next, they think in years, not weeks. The 99% wants fast results. The 1% plays long games. In the famous marshmallow experiment, kids who delayed gratification had better life outcomes, higher income, better health, more success. That's not just about patience, that's strategy. Jeff Bezos didn't expect Amazon to turn a profit for 5 years. He said, we're willing to be misunderstood for long periods of time. He wasn't chasing quarterly wins. He was building a decade-long empire. The 1% sees time as their greatest investment. And money, they don't worship it. They use it. Most people see money as a goal. The 1% sees it as a tool, a soldier, a lever, a seed. According to CNBC, 88% of millionaires say their wealth came from smart investing, not high salaries. They don't ask, how do I save more? They ask, how do I make money work harder than I do? They use money to buy freedom, time, opportunity, not toys. Here's another shift, leverage over labor. The 99% thinks wealth comes from hard work. The 1% knows it comes from leverage, code, content, capital, community. Code runs 24/7. Content lives forever. Capital multiplies silently. Community builds momentum. Naval Ravikant said, "Give me a lever long enough and I can move the world." Leverage is the difference between hustling and scaling. Think about it. A YouTube video you post today could earn ad revenue, affiliate sales, and clients for years. Meanwhile, the 99% is still clocking in for a few extra hours of overtime. Next, rare skills. The 1% don't collect random certifications. They build rare, expensive skills that solve painful problems. In 2024, the highest paid remote roles weren't in management. They were in things like AI prompt engineering, paid ads, and data storytelling. Skills that are rare, valuable, and hard to automate. They don't just ask, what do I like? They ask, what problem do people hate and will pay me to solve? That's the millionaire filter. Another shift, they think in ownership, not paychecks. Employees get paid, owners get rich. The 1% doesn't just want income, they want equity. A freelance designer trades time. A smart designer builds a product once and sells it forever. Templates, fonts, UI kits, courses, assets. They don't chase work, they build things that work for them. Now, risk. You might think the 1% loves risk. Not true. They love calculated risk. Small downside, massive upside. Investing $500 in a scalable skill, high upside. Spending $500 on Uber Eats and drinks, that's guaranteed loss. The 1% bets on things that return exponentially, and they never go all in blindly. According to the Kauffman Foundation, most successful entrepreneurs had over 10 years of experience in their industry before launching something. They don't jump. They prepare, then they pounce. Here's one most people never consider: direction over speed. The average person runs fast in the wrong direction. The 1% slows down just long enough to ask, what game am I playing? And do I even want the prize? Because not every dollar is equal. A dollar that gives you freedom is more valuable than one that adds stress. The 1% isn't obsessed with being busy. They're obsessed with being right. Tim Ferriss said, being busy is a form of laziness, lazy thinking and indiscriminate action. The rich don't just move fast, they move with intention. Now the final shift, optionality. This is the big one. The 99% limits choices. The 1% creates them. A person with one income source is trapped. Lose the job, lose the life. A person with 4 income streams, a valuable skill, and an audience, free. Nassim Taleb calls it anti-fragile, the idea that some people get stronger under chaos because they built systems that survive disorder. The 1% doesn't rely on certainty. They build resilience. They open doors. And they don't need to walk through them all. They just like having the keys. So, how do you think like the 1%? You stop chasing hacks. You start asking better questions. Not, how do I make more money? But, what system can I build that runs without me? Not, what job should I get? But, what value can I create that scales? Not, what's the fastest way? But, what's the path that gives me options and leverage? This isn't motivational. This is mental architecture. Wealth isn't just numbers. It's how you think when no one's watching. It's how you react under pressure. It's whether you're optimizing for today or building for 10 years from now. You want the 1% life? Start with the 1% mindset, because once you learn to think differently, the results become inevitable. This is DeepMind Daily, helping you build clarity, income, and control over your own life. I'll see you in the next one.